Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is TweaK here, back again with another little video. Today we're going to be talking about the new dynamic loot system, or as everybody else has been referring to it as the no loot system. So recently, for those of you that are out of the loop, BSG have made some changes to, well, all the loot on pretty much all the maps. It started off when all the labs players were complaining that they were looting every single keycard room and they were getting out with like 4 stims and a grizzly and making absolutely no money. The plague has also spread to all the other maps as well. And Shoreline was pretty bad before the dynamic loot thing came in, but you can still make decent money. You get a LEDX every now and again. It took me 2 weeks to find a LEDX on Shoreline again since this event came in. So loot being sparse is a bit of an understatement. Now, why have they done this? Well, first of all, money in Tarkov, in my opinion, is still way too easy to make. We're getting to a point now where it's starting to get pretty balanced, where if we have a loot system like this at the start of a wipe, the economy will look like way different and people aren't going to be hitting the end game immediately, and as soon as everyone hits level 20 you're just buying everything en masse because money's so easy to make. But the reason why they're doing this, obviously, is to slow the pace of the game down a little bit. Is well, at least one of my thoughts. They're testing it now just to, you know, get a good idea of how much money people are making, because they can track stuff like that. And then secondly, they're trying to make it so that, you know, some of the really rare items in Tarkov are actually rare again. So when you do find them, it's, oh my god, I needed this, I was looking for this. It shouldn't be a case of every single time you go into a raid, you're guaranteed to go and find that item, because then it takes away the surprise, it takes away the fun. You can't just run straight to 310, you know, a couple of times and find a lion stature. Maybe 310's a bad example because 310 kind of sucks now. But maybe, like, I don't know, 205 by the glass bridge in East Wing, you know, you find lion statues in there a decent bit, you know, you run that over and over again, you'll get it eventually. But what they've done instead now is they've taken all of the loot and they've spread it out. So they haven't made like areas on certain maps, you know, very loot dense. Therefore, like, you know, the resort, they've spread the loot around. From what I've heard, there's a lot of really good loot in hidden caches now. People are telling me as well that Svetli Dead End, that little village, or the Svetli village, I should say, not the swamp, the village next to the swamp, is now really good for loot. Like, the loot is apparently really good there. I haven't checked it out yet, but apparently you can make stonks by checking that out. So caches and other areas that are, like, you know, generally unexplored by people seem to be where all the loot is diverging to. Now, moving on to customs, I've also been told the cache loot on customs is pretty good, and people are finding stuff, you know, in like weapon crates and weapon boxes and all kinds of random loot in like duffel bags and stuff like that. Same thing with interchange. Like, duffel bag loot seems to be made better, whereas the loot in Ultra Med seems to be nerfed a little bit. Emercom's been nerfed a little bit, and the loot in Kiba, from what I can see so far, seems to be unaffected. I don't think the Kiba loot was changed, because I think the Kiba loot has a very specific loot table to where that has been unaffected by these changes. So Kiba, funnily enough, is actually now a really good and consistent way of making money, provided you get to interchange and somebody's turned the power on and they haven't hit it before you get there. Reserve, I can't really say too much about. People have been saying, yeah, loot's pretty good on reserve, but you have to spend time searching and looting and, you know, min-maxing and grabbing good stuff. Now, labs. Everybody's complaining about labs because, you know, they're looting the red keycard room, they're looting black keycard room, green keycard room. They're not really getting too much out of it, which I've always found kind of strange, because when I think labs, I always think PvP and raiders, which is where I made like the majority of my money every time I used to play labs. So I think they've just made it so that, I don't think this was a change made to affect harm tiers or whatever. Maybe it is a little bit, but I don't know. But I think what this is for people that are purposefully finding dead Tarkov servers, right? And they're going in with groups of people and they're all matching together and queue sniping each other. So they're having perfectly safe raids on basically whatever map they want. And specifically on labs, because you can call in raiders, but since there doesn't, you know, that many raiders don't really spawn anymore, it's usually enough loot for maybe 1 or 2 people to make a decent bit of money. So you can't just split up a group, they go hit different rooms, and then everybody comes out loaded and makes a shitload of cash. So yeah, I think I don't know, I think it's an interesting change. Obviously it's all very subject to change, and everything's, you know, well, they're changing stuff pretty much every couple of days now. Like, just the other day we had GPU spawn rates in computers increase on interchange, so they've added that now. And then the other day, you'll see it at the end of this video, there's going to be a just a little run of me talking about all the changes to certain loot items and their spawn chances, and also the muzzle velocity of a lot of sniper rifles in Tarkov got increased in order to make them a little bit more viable. So I think that these changes are good. I think that it's still early days for these changes. However, I think that this is a very good first step in order to achieve the full-on like dynamic loot system, because I've always said that you should just not be able to run straight to a certain room on resort or reserve or wherever and find an item you're looking for. It's called target farming. It's basically something you can do in like World of Warcraft and a lot of MMOs. People will target farm items. They know which mobs drop them, and they know what, you know, where the item spawns, or they know where like the boss spawns that you have to kill to get the item that you want. Now, in doing this, you're making players explore, you're making people loot, you're making people, you know, spend more time in raid, and you're basically spreading out the player base to other parts of the map rather than everybody rolling over to the resort that aren't questing, because like a lot of people that aren't questing will just go straight to the resort to try and get, you know, as much money as they can. So this way you're kind of forcing players out of their comfort zone. You're maybe making them go loot somewhere else where they've never really been before, you know, just in order to see if they can find, you know, whatever quest item or whatever barter item that they're looking for. So I think that's really good. I think that's sick. I think we're going to see a lot of new encounters, new types of encounters, I guess, and places that are pretty much deemed useless by the majority of the community on certain maps, because there's places on most maps where everyone knows, yeah, we don't go over there because there's no loot there. Well, now there might be really awesome stuff there, but you're going to have to go over there and find out. And then when word spreads around, the people are saying, oh yeah, dude, no, I found a graphics card in this weird place on Woods, or I found a graphics card in like a duffel bag in this room on Interchange, or yeah, on the counter of this room on Reserve, dude, I found, you know, X, Y, and Z. And it's just going to create this cool dynamic where people are like communicating with each other again about where loot is spawning. And it'll sort of pull the community like back together a little bit to where we're kind of talking about, you know, loot spawns and who found what where, and I don't know, just kind of bring us back together a little bit as far as, you know, talking about looking for stuff. People are like, oh my god, yeah, dude, my friend said he found that over there, so I'm going to go look for that today, and if I find it, I'll let you know. And, you know, add a little bit of mystery back to Tarkov, because right now there is no mystery. Everybody knows where LEDX spawns. Everybody knows where graphics card spawns. Everybody knows where whatever quest items you need, they know where to get them, and nothing has changed in years. So I think the system is awesome. I think the people that are bitching about not being able to make any money, you guys need to shut the fuck up and do your scav runs, because I haven't really had any problems making decent cash, and you just have to change up the way that you're used to farming shit, or do your scav runs. If you don't do your scav runs this wipe, you're probably going to be broke. Scav runs are huge this wipe for money. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. You need to get out of your fucking comfort zone, and you need to change the way you play the game a little bit, and you'll be absolutely stonking. I'm sick of seeing all these complainers bitching and whinging and moaning on Reddit and Twitter about how they can't go do million ruble raids. Motherfucker, you never should have been able to do million ruble raids in this game, unless you found like a super rare key or something. But you should never be able to have consistently been able to do like million ruble raids. That's ridiculous. They need to pull that back down, like where the average amount of money you take out of a raid is, you know, a much lower value than 1,000,000 rubles, because that's silly. But anyways, lads, that will lead on to the next part of the video, where it's going to cut to me talking about the loot changes and stuff. My hair might be a little bit different. I might be wearing a different t-shirt, but don't freak out too much. How's it going, everybody? So a little bit of EFT news today. We've got some item spawn rate changes. Sacriel's T has been increased by 20%. The big military batteries increased by 20%. Analog thermometers increased by 25%. Antique vases, antique teapots increased by 50%. Broken G phones increased by 25%. Bronze lions increased by 100%. Cat figurines 50%. Chain with Pro Kill medallion has now been increased by 300%. So get ready to see a lot more attack 2s in your raids. Cyclone rechargeable batteries increased by 17%. Deadly Slob's beard oil increased by 33%. Electric drill by 17%. The FP100 filter absorber being increased by 50% also. Gas analyzers increased by 14%. GM counters increased by 25%. Golden Rooster by 300%. GP coin increased by 50%. Graphics cards also increased by 50%. So lads, have fun running Interchange today. We've also got the Iridium military thermal vision module being increased by 50% as well. LEDXs increased by 100%. So hopefully we can find a LEDX on Shoreline today. That would be fantastic. Haven't found one in about 2 weeks. Feels good, man. The Loot Lord plushie increased by 100%. Everybody complaining that it was super rare. Hopefully we'll now find it a little bit more often in raid. Also, landmarks, rat poison increased by 100% as well. Magnets increased by 50%. Military cables by 25%. Military circuit boards increased by 33%. Military gyro tachometer increased by 20%. Nixer lenses increased by 70%. The old fire steel, one of the most annoying items to find for the Kappa quest for a lot of people, has been increased by 233%. Also, ophthalmoscopes increased by 50%. Phase array elements increased by 50%. Physical Bitcoin spawn chance increased by 50%, which is interesting because Bitcoins are unbelievably rare to find in raid. So it's nice that we're going to find them a little bit more often. That'll be pretty cool. Portable defibrillators also increased by 100%. Ratchet wrenches spawn increased by 50%. Raven figurine increased by 100%. Roller Submariner gold wrist watch increased by 100%. Try and say that 10 times fast in a row. Silver badges also increased by 100%. Serv L survivor lighter increased by 50%. Tool set spawn increased by 25%. Ultraviolet lamp 50%. WD-40 400ml 40%. Wooden clock increased by 100%. Now, lads, remember, this is spawn rate changes. This does not mean that if I said, you know, LEDX spawn increased by 100%, that does not mean that LEDXs are going to be in every single one of your raids. What it means is that it was increased by, you know, 100% of the number that it was set to before, which we don't know. So, yeah, hopefully this means that we're going to be finding these items a little bit more often in raid. And I guess they're just trying to find a place to balance the loot spawn rates, I guess. So that's pretty cool. So lads, enjoy. Make sure to report back with your findings and let me know. Also, we've got some velocity changes as well. So the VPO 215 with the 23-inch barrel has been increased by 45%. The T5000M 308 660mm barrel has been increased by 53%. The M700, all the different barrels have been increased respectively. We've got the 26-inch stainless steel barrel increased by 31%. The 26-inch barrel increased by 40%. The 20-inch stainless steel barrel increased by 29%, and the 20-inch was increased by 63%. The Mosin 730mm regular barrel has had a velocity increase of 24%. The sawed-off 200mm barrel has been decreased by minus 50%. So that's seen a nerf right there. That gun is going to be absolutely useless. The Mosin 514mm carbine barrel has been increased by 32%. And we've also got the Molat VPO 215 366 TKM bolt action rifles have had their velocities changed by 105% as well. And the DVL, the 660mm barrel has been increased by 21%. And then the DVL 10 500mm barrel velocity changed by 56%. We've also had a small change here in the ergonomics department. The sawn-off 220mm barrel Mosin has had its ergonomics decreased by 50%. So basically what this means is that, as far as I understand it, when you're using bolt-action sniper rifles now in Tarkov, the bullet will basically be moving a lot faster than if you fired, like, let's say a 308 out of a 308 MDR. If you shoot that same round out of a 20-inch barrel Remington M700, the bullet is going to be traveling 67% faster than it is out of like the 308 MDR. Because the barrels are so long, the bullet has more time to speed up before it leaves the barrel. Therefore, the round should be traveling faster. Therefore, we will not have to lead our sniper shots as much in EFT anymore. So this is actually a massive change made to sniping in this game, and it's definitely going to make sniping a little bit more quote unquote, you know, hit scanny. So this is cool. I'm definitely going to try out some sniping, and we'll see, I suppose, just how much the changes have changed things. So this is pretty cool. So yeah, let me know how you guys find it, and enjoy hitting the sniping, because sniping before was a bit of a chore. With these changes, sniping might actually be really fun now. So good changes, very nice. But lads, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, leave a comment on the video. I would appreciate it, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace out, my dudes.